It was the police case that this small shed gave Arthur Greer cover to bury Sharon Mason's body without being seen, key in what was a shared backyard. The shed is now gone, but according to Innocence Project volunteer Cathy Young, where it once stood is still critical to the case.
That would have been roughly where the shed is, around about here, because the fence here, right, that would have been the boundary that ran down there.
Yeah.
So the shed is positioned roughly here.
Why was it not feasible that the body could have been buried underneath that shed?
It's 40 degrees that weekend that he was alleged to have killed her and buried her. The dirt under the shed would have been extremely dry. You're in a very tight space. You've got a body, you've got yourself, you've got pavers that you've had to lift up. He would have had to have dug a minimum of around 9 feet of dirt. It just didn't appear feasible to me.
Cathy put on her own detective hat and found the conclusions made about the shed, relied upon by police and the jury, were fundamentally flawed.
From the trial of Arthur Greer, the judge of the day made a comment about the quality of a photograph that was put up as evidence of where the body was found, and that body must have been buried under that shed. In looking at the photograph, it was an extremely grainy image. A clearer picture would have been able to have afforded the jury to have been certain or not whether the body was actually buried under that shed.
Instead of depending on the fuzzy photo of the backyard shown to the jury, Cathy hunted down another, much clearer image. She had it mathematically mapped, with startling results. Sharon's body was found more than a metre from where the shed once stood.
You can actually see he couldn't have buried her under the shed.
Do you remember your reaction when you got the results back from the photograph being tested?
Yes, it was. It's a strange feeling to describe. Your stomach drops, you get a knot in your throat, and you think, okay, we've thought this, but now here's the validation of what our theory is. It was a milestone moment.
And the state of Sharon's body is perplexing too. It was only partially decomposed. Extraordinary after 9 years. A former senior state pathologist who reviewed the autopsy for the Innocence Project says the only feasible explanation for that strange rate of decomposition is that the body must have been stored elsewhere, perhaps frozen, before being buried at the shop site at the time the pipes were laid. So where do you believe Sharon was between 1983, when she was killed, and 1992, when her body was found at the back of those shops?
The fact that Dr. Pocock believed that the pink muscle tissue led him to suspect that she had been highly refrigerated or frozen for a period of time, part of the remains. I think there is the possibility that she could have even been down a well.
So sitting here today, do you believe Arthur Greer had anything to do with the murder of Sharon?
I don't. I think the facts speak for themselves, and I think had the same facts been presented in his trial, I would hope that justice would have been served then, and I don't believe he would have gone to jail.
Hello, I'm Tara Brown. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.